It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
Raisi K, the Raisin Man.
Yo, what's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me, as always, my buddy, my close pal, the man, the plan, the one and only, John Meleka. But before we ask John how he's doing, just make sure to hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe if you listen to this on any audio listening platform, Apple, Spotify, whatever it may be. Support us. That way we continue to create this content. Now, with that said, happy Thanksgiving to Knicks Nation, to the KJE listeners, to everyone out there. Hope you get your fill of turkey, chicken, whatever you eat. If you're a vegetarian, hope you eat as much vegetarian stuffing there is. John, what's going on, bro? How you doing today? Happy Thanksgiving, my man.
Happy Thanksgiving. If you listen to this right now, you're past your Thanksgiving. World Cup is in full throttle, upsets everywhere. NFL is, as we are right in the thick of things with Thanksgiving games. The playoffs are starting to shape up. And, dude, the Knicks are finally playing basketball again. I feel like the Knicks haven't played in a month and a half before this Portland game. We are, of course, as we've been saying from day one, we are 500 as we expected. And I'm happy to get this, this Knicks team back on track at home versus Portland. Always a fun game at the Garden. Dame is out though, right?
Dame is out with a calf strain. He'll be reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks. Actually, I just did a preview with Tori Jones for Knicks Fan TV. It just dropped on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Very good conversation. So if you want to go check that out and get some in-depth nuance on how the Blazer fans feel about their team this season, just overall thoughts on their current players and whatnot, make sure to go check that out. And we also break down the game as well. But yeah, man, we got them playing. It's always good when we play the Blazers, right? It's usually a good matchup. Unless you're talking about last season where we were up and then we decided to just fall by
But they're all fun games.
Points. Yeah.
They're all fun games. And, the Knicks right now, I feel like are such an up and down season, whether it's with the rotation style, because certain positions are like, we're really like, trying to figure it out on the spot. Mitch is back, but he's on this limited stuff. Grimes is back. He was on this limited stuff. D Rose is getting spot minutes here and there. All of a sudden, they're starting to figure it out. They're kind of winning the games that they should. Right. After that embarrassing OKC loss, like we both talked about, they actually beat Utah in Utah, like one of the best teams in the NBA right now, regardless of how you want to shape the conversation. Mm-hmm. They beat Denver in Denver. That it's like it hasn't happened since that Crawford lucky miracle half court turnover 3-pointer. And the Joker was out, so we should have won that game. We did win that game. Obviously, we're not beating Golden State. Obviously, we're not beating Phoenix. Then we came back and we exercised some demons in OKC. Like you were worried about, and we we're good to go. Brunson dropping 34, like showing everybody that he's worthy, and so the Knicks are figuring it out. But dude, this news about the IQ and the D Rose trade, like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that's a locker room issue, first of all, and then second of all, what are your thoughts on that, man? IQ and D Rose, like D Rose, I understand, but IQ for a pick. I don't know about that, dude.
That I had a whole 6-minute conversation on Knicks Fan TV. Once again, go back and listen to that, because when I hear that, man, it irritates me. Like you said, like Derrick Rose, I can understand, even though I know people are so quick to get rid of veterans to let all the kids play. And trust me, I am one of those guys to say, let's see what we got in the youth. We got to do some talent evaluation. But Derrick Rose is our only other legitimate point guard on this team. I don't know if Miles McBride is ready to take on that role. If you do that, you're putting Quickley in a different position then. I think over time, if Quickley learns that, that's fine. But Quickley right now, we need another shooter and a guard that's going to be willing to attack consistently and relentlessly. even though he's been struggling the last couple of games, he had a really good outing against OKC, and he had 18 off the bench, shot 4 for 5 from downtown, had really good efficient night. But trading Immanuel Quickley for a first round pick, and we don't even know what that just sounds stupid, dude. Like, in all honesty, like, I get wanting to reset rookie contracts, but why trade him? We don't know fully what he can be on this team. And then we already have 11 first round picks. So now you're gonna have to use a first round pick at some point. So you're gonna go from, if you think about it, you go from 10 to 11, then you get that one. If you trade for Quickly, you get back to 11 again. So, like, what are we doing here? And what's the protections on those picks? What are we getting? What's the value? What are we doing as a team, man, if we start doing that? Wait, what are we actually doing?
Do not, Alex. Do not sit here and tell me what are the protections on the pick. I don't want to have that conversation right now. Like, we are just what feels like 24 hours behind. I know it was months ago, but it feels like 24 hours ago. We're talking about how many protected picks can we trade? What's worth it to who? And we look like idiots, right? Like, we offered all our picks, and the other teams didn't value it like we did. Now we're trying to trade a player who's actually good that we know and other teams obviously recognize. And then we're getting another protected pick. Alex, please, I cannot have that. But, and at this point, we can't have Evan Fournier not be playing at all. Grimes, I mean, when he plays, he's amazing, but I mean, I guess he's injury prone, I would say right now.
He gets the injury prone label. I mean, look, he's missed a lot of time, man. You know, he didn't get to play a lot last season, and he missed the beginning of this season. Although we did get that report from Steve Popper that he was good for about 2 weeks now, and it's very weird.
Hat. I know.
It's very weird, man. It's very weird. You know, I don't.
Right, so if Grimes is hurt again, or he's limited, or whatever it is situation.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the use of trading IQ unless we're tanking? Then Knicks Twitter could be hyped. You know what I mean? They could get on their high horse. Everything will go just as they planned. We'll tank for Wembanyama. We'll fire Tibbs because he's not going to go through a rebuild, and we'll just start over. Like, that's what IQ signals. You know what I mean? For me, D Rose doesn't signal that. Honestly, a D Rose trade signals the opposite, where it's kind of like the Knicks are really trying to play the rookies or the young guys. There's no really rookies on this team, but we're trying to win now. You know what I mean? D Rose, I know he's a veteran, but like, I don't know if you're really trying to win now if D Rose is playing. You know what I mean? Like, big 20, 25 minutes. So I don't know, man. Do you think if we trade IQ, the season's over? Or am I overreacting?
I don't think you're overreacting. I don't think you're overreacting with that. But with trading IQ, and when you start thinking of like what you get in return, to me, it's this roster is congested. Like, let's keep it a buck, right? We know this roster is congested. Not everyone can play, and we talk about Sims, we talk about Grimes, we like Hartenstein, even though he's not great on defense, but he gives you some offensive ability, right? We talk about Obi Toppin needing minutes. We got Julius Randle here. You know, we got rid of the Evan Fournier situation, but now we open up a whole other issue with Cam Reddish, Quentin Grimes, Immanuel Quickley. Now Deuce McBride's getting in here. And you're like, oh, well, we got some Deuce minutes here, and he's playing some really good defense. Maybe we could use him, especially for on ball, considering that our defense does need to take an uptick since our offense not there. You got RJ, you got all these other guys. And you're like, bro, we have too many dudes on this team that need minutes. And it's like your favorite saying, when you have two quarterbacks, you have none. When you have a lot of role players, what do you got? You got nothing, man. And it's like depth is cool when you can go to that in the playoffs, but when you have to figure out a rotation and there's guys who are deserving of minutes. All these guys are deserving of minutes, It's just, for Tibbs, it's very difficult to figure that out. And I think you put a lot of pressure on him, where we all look at Tibbs like, why didn't you go to this guy? Where didn't you go to that guy? And he's like, look, guys, I got a crazy ass roster. I'm trying to figure out who can get into rhythm and who fits where. and now he's shortened it down to 9. Like, what? I don't know, man. Like, honestly,
Listen, he's been
the thought
flexible.
about
He's been
the thought about
flexible.
the thought about trading Immanuel Quickley when he's been good for us and having instant
bad team.
offense off the bench. Yeah,
On a bad team. He's never been in a good rotation ever.
except for that when we made the 4 seed. But
No,
outside,
him.
yeah,
But like him personally, you know what I mean? Him like specifically, like when he's on the court, like
he's usually with the
never,
second unit though.
yeah, he's with the second unit. He's just like staggered. You know what I mean? It's not like the offense is running around him. Nobody's running a play for him. He's just out there just trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I feel like that's most of the time. Like he gets the ball and like we question a lot of the shots that he takes. Even when he brings it up and he just puts up a shot, you're like, well, could you have looked for somebody? I think he's starting to get into more rhythm like that, but I don't think there's, to your point, a lot of design plays for Immanuel Quickley when we watch it play, because that second unit, it's limited time and a lot of guys need to get fed, right? You got Obi who needs to get fed. You got your centers that need to get fed. Derrick Rose needs to get fed. It's not like your starters, like when you watch RJ, Brunson, Randall, and they're getting to put up 15 plus shots every single night. It's much different, when Quickley's hot, he'll get that, but it's not often that you start seeing those type of things from Immanuel Quickley. And I just, to me, when I hear we're trading a guy like that off the bench when Derrick Rose is not the future, and I know people are talking about not wanting to be capped. Derrick Rose is done this season being on the books. You know what I mean? Like you could cut bait with Evan Fournier and just go get 2 second-round picks and go figure what out and have somebody on the bench that you don't want to use too. You know what I mean? Like you can figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, but can I talk about Evan Fournier's situation for a second? So with D Rose, we've been very accommodating, and we're definitely known as a players team, right? From the front office to the coach when it comes to a veteran like D Rose. We definitely treated him great from the very beginning up until now. You know what I mean? Getting minutes when he's here, when he's not, we still treat him like he deserves a spot in the rotation, comes in, gets his minutes. You know what I mean? Did you hear about this Evan Fournier French interview where he was talking about he doesn't want to get traded because his wife is pregnant, and if he gets traded, he's not going to be able to see the baby, and like going through a lot of that kind of stuff? Do you think that's part of the reason why we're not going to trade him, or why we're kind of like moving it forward? I honestly wonder if there is some sort of situation going on where it's off the court because of the Knicks' propensity to kind of coddle to their players, which is good. It's a good thing, and it's a new culture. But I think D Rose is going to get moved for him. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's going to be because he wants more minutes in the rotation. He's not going to get it here, so we'll move him to a situation that's positive for him. Maybe like an LA type, one of the LA teams, or someone who needs a point guard. On the other hand, I think we're going to keep Fournier just because it helps him. But I don't know. Like at some point, we might have to make a business decision, by the deadline. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But dude, the IQ thing really annoys me. I know we spent some time on it here, but I don't know. Maybe I don't want him starting,
bro. It just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe I don't want him starting, bro. Maybe I'm not that guy that's like screaming start IQ. We're fired tips because he's not starting IQ. But also, I like him on the team. Like I think he's 6th man of the year capable every single season. So I really don't want to trade him. If we trade him, dude, I feel like we're the next time we're talking draft, regardless of what year, we're gonna be like, oh, let's try to find that Immanuel Quickley kind of guy in the draft. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what we're gonna be looking for. It's so annoying.
Like. Here's the thing with a lot of these young guys, and I talked about this for a preview I did on KFTV where it comes to like having young players. It was with Sam, part of the Light Years pod, to Warriors podcast, also. And when I had him on, I talked to him. He was talking about the issue that Knicks fans kind of have grievances about, where a lot of the young players on the Warriors, like Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and James Wiseman. These guys aren't getting enough playing time and they're stuck to a role, right? But when these guys come into the league, they need to figure out who they are as a player and what type of impact they can make. And teams like OKC give you that type of leeway. Teams like the Sacramento Kings give you that type of leeway. Unlike the Knicks, the Warriors have had success. They're the reigning champs, right? And you have Steph, Dre, Clay, all those guys there. So for them, it's like I I can get that. I can get why those guys would be frustrated, but also the reality is that you're with some Hall of Famers right there, and they're a championship winning team. They're ready to continue to win with those guys as far as possible until they can try to usher you in to be the next guy. Unlike the Knicks, we're not. I think when we look at this team, we're not going to the Eastern Conference, right? We could say playoffs. We could say a playoff team, 6, all we want. But I think when we really get down to the core of it, we're not seeing Eastern Conference Finals. Would you agree with me on that?
Of course, unless all of a sudden RJ becomes the actual player we paid him to be. If RJ becomes RJ Barrett and Grimes actually is healthy and Mitch is healthy, honestly, we can compete. I'm being honest. We can compete. No, we can compete for we can compete in the playoffs. Like we could win a series. We could maybe win a second one. I don't think we could win a third one to get to to the Eastern Conference, like you're saying. But I think we could be a little bit more competitive than just making the playoffs if RJ plays well and the shooting guard and the center actually get healthy. I think that's all it takes.
You're talking about like a lot of guys like really get into that. We haven't really seen. I know RJ was sick. He didn't really play well. Let's see if he can turn it around. Like he had a really good game against OKC. Let's see if he can continue to string along some good games and be that impactful player that we hope he can be. And maybe, right? But but when I look at the Knicks, I'm still saying, hey, we're still in let's figure out mode. Let's figure out what we got on this bench and just say, hey, can Quickley do more than what we're asking him to do? Can Obi do a little bit more what we're asking him to do? And I feel like every year tip is like, okay, can you just do this one thing and do this one thing and do this one thing? But when you watch a guy, and I'm not saying like you have to do this every single time, but when you give players like, all right, we're trying to go win and figure something out, you can start to see, oh, that guy's got a little bit of athleticism, some more playmaking. Like when I watch Grimes, I'm like, there's some playmaking there. There's some playmaking. We know he's a strong rebounder. We know bare minimum 3-and-D. But when I watch him, I'm like, I could see him being able to do a lot more than just be a 3-and-D player when he gets minutes. And, same thing with Cam. Like when you start seeing guys like that, you can start to see these ceilings, right? And with Quickley, I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't think we've given him a chance to really get a ceiling because even parts of last season, he was clocked at 15 minutes until the All-Star break because he was stinking up the joint.
Yep.
Right? So that's just my thoughts on like the whole Quickley trade. I don't know what we have. If we're going to lose Derrick Rose next season, you still have money to sign Quickley. You still can keep Quickley on here and extend it the following season after that. I get the fear of being a capped out team, but I think you got to be creative if you're the Knicks and start looking for other maneuvers to upgrade or get other talent in here because I think Quickley we haven't really found what Quickley is. But moving this thing along, man. Yeah.
Keep Quickley in New York.
Yeah, keep Quickley. Let's see what we got. In some of these other young guys as well. That's just my sentiment. But we got a game coming up, man. We got another slate of games coming up. We got the Portland Trail Blazers, as you talked about. That should be a good one. We also got the Memphis Grizzlies. After you talk about demons.
This one,
you talk about
listen,
demons.
Man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I have personal demons with Memphis coming into New York. They kill us it's one of my favorite games to go to almost every and they kill us every year. JJJ is still not here. They bully us, honestly. This is a game we gotta win, man. This is the redemption tour time for the Knicks. If we want to stay 500, we gotta win the next 3 games, man, because we have Milwaukee, Dallas, Cleveland coming after that. So
I'm just looking at that schedule, and we're going up to Detroit because, we can go up to Milwaukee because that's a back-to-back. But I'm looking at the schedule for next week. How gross do you have to be in the NBA to give us 2 back-to-backs in the same week? That's nasty.
Not only that, dude. It's Saturday, Sunday. Dallas, Cleveland at home in the Garden. 2 matinees.
Before that, like you give us like you're teeing it up with Detroit, but then you give us Milwaukee afterwards. Then you go Milwaukee, Dallas, Cleveland. What?
I mean, what a homestand. What a homestand. Milwaukee, Dallas, Cleveland, Atlanta is some kind of homestand. But again, 1 game at a time. I'm looking ahead. I hope the Knicks aren't looking ahead. Okay, I'm looking ahead. I'm making it very clear. We have to beat Portland with no Dame. We gotta exercise some demons in Memphis. and we just can't lose this one standalone road game in Detroit. I don't know why we're going to random Detroit on a Tuesday. We're home, Portland, Memphis, and then go to randomly Detroit on a Tuesday, come back, and then we're home, Milwaukee, Dallas, Cleveland, Atlanta. So I don't understand it. The schedule is weird. We have to win the next 3 games, man. We have to go 3-0. We will go 3-0. I know it sounds crazy. We had a week off. We're gonna go 3-0 here. We're not losing to Memphis. Memphis is gonna be the breaker here because I think Portland and Detroit definitely two wins. Memphis is gonna be the hard one, obviously. That's me like with some hopium, right? And want some optimism? That's the Memphis game. Realistically, I think we're gonna go 2-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm going 2-1. I think we beat Portland. I think we beat Detroit. Memphis. That's look, man. They got John Morant.
I know.
But
listen, I walked you off the cliff with the OKC game.
Missing time. Ja was missing time, but he's back. He came back earlier this week. That's what I'm saying. They got him back. So if he was out, I'm like, oh, this is a really good matchup. But with John Morant back, you're talking about. I don't know, man. He's so good. I know we got some demons to exercise. Hopefully they do beat Memphis, just because it'd be nice, and also because the next slate of games, I think we'll beat Dallas, but Milwaukee and Cleveland, yikes.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back for that. But for now, I'm going 3-0. We're gonna exercise some demons. RJ's gonna get it together. He's gonna go home, have a nice Thanksgiving. He's gonna play well. He's gonna take some Mucinex. Okay, I'm so sick of this cold. He's been sick for a week and a half now. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna come back and kill it in the Garden. I'm ready for 3-0 Knicks. I'm ready for overreaction Knicks. IQ's gonna go crazy with these trade rumors. I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
And listen, I walked you off the cliff last week. We ended up both being right with the last slate of games, and the kicker was we disagreed on OKC, and I moved you. I moved you from a loss to a win there, you were worried about exercising demons. That was the kicker. So I'm just saying, we just got to exercise some Memphis demons here.
Hey man, I like it when the Knicks win. All right,
I know.
I like it when the Knicks win. As much as I would like to see other things happen, I like it when the Knicks win. But I hope you're right with exercising some demons against Memphis because we need to. All right, especially on our own home court. We gotta. The last time we played at home, we got mollywopped, as you would say, by the OKC Thunder. We gotta have a good homestand, man. This is disgusting. We can't have that again. That's disgusting. I can't see another.
That's why I'm so nervous.
I can't see another 130 points.
Honestly, I see 130 points in the matinees with Dallas at 12:30 on a Saturday, and 6:00 Cleveland. Both of those are going to net us 130 points from the other team. I'm very nervous.
Say the same thing for Memphis because that's a 6:00 game.
Memphis is I still think it's going to be exercising some demons for some reason. I still think like that. That's like a big.
The Knicks have been very interesting, man. Last week on the road trip, they won a back-to-back series.
That's true.
And they lost to Phoenix, another back-to-back. How many back-to-backs are we getting, bro? I'm just thinking about this. What the last 2 weeks we have four back-to-backs?
Get rid of them earlier. We're about to go 3-0 right now. We're good to go.
I'm just saying, but the Knicks won the second game of a back-to-back, which usually never happens. But hey, this is the New York Knicks. This is the New York Knicks. All right, man. You got 3-0. I got 2-1. We touched on Quickley. Try to keep Quickley here. All right, keep Quickley. We don't need to.
Hashtag keep IQ, bro.
For a pick. Come on. If you told me we're getting like a good player and a pick, but if you're just going to trade a player to just get a pick, like that's nonsense.
No, thank you. Honestly, no. There's nobody I'm eyeing right now for IQ. Keep IQ.
Facts. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks Shits Etc. podcast. You all know what to do. If you listen to this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. We're on all audio listening platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitch, you name it. We are there. If you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us that 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave us a review or comment. We're also partnered with Fanside and Minute Media, so you can find this podcast on the Daily Knicks and the Jet Press. We also got that YouTube page, Knicks, Jets, etc. Period. Find the page, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And we watch a video, hit the like button. leave a comment, add to the conversation. We want to know your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about trading Immanuel Quickley? Do you want it to happen? Do you not want it to happen? Do you see something that we're not seeing? Do you see a player and a pick or even multiple picks that we're not seeing? Let us know in the comment section below.
Alex, I want to tell you right now, I'm so proud of us that we didn't talk about Julius Randle or Obi Toppin for 1 second on this whole podcast. I was to bring it up.
You're lucky it's Thanksgiving.
Amazing.
On top of that, we also got another podcast on this YouTube channel, also partnered with Minute Media. Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, and our guy and co-host Chip Murphy. These guys go through every single sport possible. NCAA, college football. We got NFL going on right now. World Cup. You need to put money down the line. These
First
guys
half
got you
ties,
covered.
bro. First half ties until we die, bro. First half ties. I need that on my forehead, bro. First half ties. I just hit a 9-team parlay. First half ties. First half ties.
Let's go. And then last and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We are there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks Jets Etc. podcast. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll catch you next week. We out.
Knicks tape. Let's go Knicks.